What's your opinion, Anthony firing E-Rock? I don't know anything about Anthony and his business. Literally, I have no idea. And if that's true, I literally have no opinion on that. Misery loves clips.
I was going to wait for this one, but I was like, let's break it today. Because yesterday on MLC, I'll just play it. I kind of got information from a source, very reliable, that E-Rock was let go, that he was no longer 86 E-Rock. He's no longer part of Compound Media. Eric Nagel. You know him, you hate him. Eric Nagel. So there he is. He'll throw you under the bus any chance he gets. And then shortly after that, my source confirmed a couple other things. As you know, you're a Compound Media subscriber still, right?
Since day one.
You might want to go ahead.
Longer, though.
You might want to go ahead and cancel. I'm just going to give you a heads up on that. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to, save your money. So, anyways, I'm on MLC. That's called Misery Loves Company. It's Kevin Brennan's podcast.
I've heard of it.
And I break the news, and he decides to call in. So let's just play that, and we'll walk from there.
He's talking about poker now.
That hand, and that motherfucker's coming back with a royal flush. And you're sitting there going, what happened? I had all the cards. Yeah, not really.
Thank you to Misery Loves Cliffs.
So, yeah, that's kind of part of it. Yeah, it's kind of part of it.
Don't tell him I'm here.
Oh, my God. Is that really Brennan?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm talking about this right now. I got to talk a lot with, I don't know if Gavin is
brunch
doing anything or what have you. Plans are in the works. Things are being done.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. If it was just me and I could just talk about this, I would. But there's other people and stuff involved. So sorry, Kev. I got to be out of the Kevin Brennan business as far as this call goes too. I do. Once I'm able to say something and talk, I will. But tell Kevin I'm sorry. I can't talk about business at this point. I'm polite. I'm a polite man. Hold on. What's up, Charles?
All right. Anyways, so would you hear that? You heard that phone call?
I did hear the phone call, which was great. Actually, I like the lead up to it of him calling Garrett, and Kevin says, yeah, hey, it's Kevin Brennan. I used to work there twice.
Now, did you see it on Kevin's end or did you see it on Anthony's end?
No, I saw it on Misery Loves Clips. I didn't get a chance to see it live. It was a little bit after the fact.
Oh, my God. Is that really Brennan?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know if I am talking about this right now. I got to talk a lot with, I don't know if Gavin is saying anything or what have you. Plans are in the works. Things are being done. Yeah, I'm not. If it was just me and I could just talk about this, I would. But there's other people and stuff involved. So sorry, Kev. I got to be out of the Kevin Brennan business as far as this call goes, too. I do. Once I'm able to say something and talk, I will. But tell Kevin I'm sorry. I can't talk about business at this point. I'm polite. I'm a polite man. Charles, line 4. Charles. What's up, Charles?
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
I certainly can now.
Yeah. In fact, I actually had a tweet that I reposted yesterday that thank you to Bex, who clipped it 2 years ago of me, you, and Ken Mosca when we were doing our Opie, our captain's hat phase of this very program.
Let me pull
and
it
my
up.
prediction of what's going to happen with Compound Media. And it just seemed to me to make sense. I'm not the amazing Kreskin here, but it seemed to make sense to consolidate these two very
let's just play
similar networks.
Let's play it and see what happens. Follow Tony on Twitter.
I think I told you off the air, but I'll say my conspiracy theory on the air. Clip this, Bex.
And she did.
I have a feeling that this is just how I feel. I
Is
think
Bex our Jamie?
pretty much, yeah. putting out our misery loves clips. And
Second shout out.
My conspiracy is that Compound gets merged with Gavin McInnes' network Censored, and because there's a lot of crossover. Crip Daddy, and
He's dead.
The Wednesday show with Gavin and Anthony.
Was he dead?
Mhm.
I think it's just there's a lot of crossover that doesn't, it's like the same network, but people are paying twice the price. Why not maybe up it to $10 a month or $12 a month, and you get all of this content. And so my conspiracy theory is that they start to merge the network.
All right. Well, that was from 2 years ago. You're at your old house.
My old apartment. Broke into the old apartment. And
I had my old couch. So after the show, Kevin's show, I get a call from my source, my inside guy, and we'll keep that quiet. Because I don't want people to think he's a double agent. I don't want him to get in trouble with Anthony. He goes, yeah, man, I watched Kevin's show. He goes, there's more to the story. He goes, it's not just E-Rock who got fired. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, everyone got fired except Gino and Chrissy. That's it. They're
even the Booth boys?
The Booth boys are gone, all of them.
Really? So no Garrett, no Steve, no what is his name, John, or I forgot who the other guy, the Jewish guy that's on there.
I wouldn't know. You would know. Yeah, everything's gone. Everything's gone, and they're keeping Chrissy and Gino. Apparently, there was a meeting at Compound Media, and
is that why Anthony Cumia went back to New York? Because normally
Yes.
he goes to New York for his medical things, but this time around, he usually talks in great detail about him going and getting checked and making sure his blood pressure's this and everything, and how he has to walk the streets. But the last time he was in New York, he never mentioned anything about medical issues. So was this we're bringing the families together, we're going to have to break some unfortunate news here and crack a couple of eggs?
The story that I hear, and obviously I've been calling all of this. I called Steel Toast marriage was going to end because of that podcast. It did. I mean, I call my record's pretty fucking good, especially with my sources. I guess they had a meeting. They came in there. Gavin came in. I'm not. Listen. I know you're a fan of Gavin. I'm not. I just don't see it. I don't get it.
You don't get it. It doesn't hit you the way it does others. I
don't hate him. It's just I'm not interested in his content. I don't watch him.
It's like me talking about Perry Caravello. There are people who are like, dude, I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't see what you find entertaining. And I say, then I can't explain it to you.
Right. So anyways, from what I hear, Gavin comes into this meeting like a tyrant, like a Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Glen Ross, that kind of vibe. That put that coffee down. And he basically essentially told everyone, you're fired. You're done. We're moving. We're merging companies. Gino, we're keeping Chrissy and Gino and their shows. They're getting rid of the studio. The studio is packed up. Like you could still see, Gino's show, but everything else behind it's packed.
Even
up.
the wet spot.
So
the wet spot is coming over. Is it going to be Chrissy's podcast, or is it still going to be the wet spot with all the OnlyFans girls on it?
I'd be lying if I said I knew. I don't know. It might be Chrissy's podcast. It might be her podcast because she's building a studio too. She crowdfunding her studio. You give her $5,000 to build a new studio. So I'm assuming they're all going to be in separate locations and they're going to merge. I think it's going to be Compound Censored or something. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's you predicted it. Whatever you just said from 2 years ago is exactly what's happening.
I mean, it really isn't. Again, I'm not predicting the future. It was just it made sense a couple of years ago, and it certainly makes even more sense now, except there's even fewer shows on Compound since then. The 21 Guns guys were done last week. Don Jameson, Bill and Joanne, they were all let go in the last couple of months. And it's been basically the Gino Bisconti network. They've kept that studio going for Gino and bringing in Drunk Jimmy and Carl and a couple of those, not that Carl, but the Carl comedian. And that's basically been about it.
Oh, and Jim Stansel.
Oh, that's right. It is Tuesday. It's Stansel Tuesdays today. I don't know if you guys want to watch that.
So yeah,
he's doing Sports Mass Collective.
And from what I understand, Gavin's running the whole operation. He's the Keith the cop. He's the E-Rock. He's the talent. Because Anthony doesn't want to deal with anything. He just wants to do a show and leave. And so,
and that's been the problem with Compound, in my opinion, because the difference between Gavin running his company, because Gavin ran a company in Vice for a long time, Gavin's not afraid to cut shows. So let's just say if the numbers come back that very few people are watching a Gino show or a Chrissy show, he's not afraid to say, sorry, done. Anthony let a lot of these very low-viewed shows go on way too long because he's a nice guy. For as much, I've had people tell me who've worked at Compound who said, for the exterior of being this gruff, angry, drunken Italian from New York, Anthony's actually kind of a pussy in a lot of ways. And I'm saying that in an endearing term, but that he's afraid of, he doesn't want to have confrontation. He doesn't want to fire people. And he let a lot of shows go on way too long than should have been on there. And Gavin is not one of those guys. So if the numbers come back that, let's say Gino only gets a certain amount of people on his show, he'll knock on the door and say, sorry, I know we had a lot of drinks together and everything, but it's a business, and he will cut ties. So,
and I'm hearing from a lot of people that Gavin and Gino don't have a good relationship. And I think one of the reasons why they kept Gino is because of Anthony. I mean, who knows how long that's going to last? I mean, that might not be.
Well, I think there's a charm, and I'm wearing the shirt. I was a Gino fan for a long time. We did our gig back in February. I liked his dynamic with Aaron Berg, and the reason I liked it, again, it's kind of like Perry, and it's kind of like other stuff that I enjoy that's not topical, political, or anything like that, was something to it was just like a diversion. It was Aaron Berg would have the characters. When Gino would get too serious, Berg would do something to really kind of break up the audience. And then Gino would get drunk and he'd just go on another rant and rampage on something. And I liked it for its time. But remember, we're talking about a network that was launched 10 years ago. The media landscape in podcasting, in streaming, YouTubing, snipe streaming, all of this has changed drastically. Where were we in 2014? We were at the beginning of the podcast craze, but really what you were doing is you had a USB microphone you plugged into your laptop, said, hey, welcome to my podcast. Well, it's not like that anymore. You need a little bit more production, and you need backers. You need to kind of align yourself with a network or somebody pretty big. And Compound, though it was a pioneer for its time, and you saw the Gas Digitals and the Riot Casts and everything kind of take that playbook, they got left in the dust, and everybody just did what they did, just much better.